Okay, folks, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed your tea and coffee and biscuits out there. I'd like to now welcome Steve Scott, who is the founder of Simply Diag and basically a friend and advocate to the motor trade all round. And Steve's going to be talking about practical approaches to diagnostics. Welcome, Steve.
Yeah, thank you very much. Bit of the pinnacle moment of my career, actually standing here at Technical Topics, presenting to fellow master technicians, members of my network, people I've trained with for many, many years. I've been here, 2009 I think I first started training with James, something like that. So what we're going to be doing today is it simply Diag? You know, what's involved, what are the thought processes that we go through? It's an insight into my process that I use in my workshop every day, every job I do, the process that I support our members with, and basically it's based on James's 4 rights approach. Special shout out to one of our Simply Diag members, Stephen Kasapis, currently on palliative care in Brisbane, Australia. He'll actually be tuned in now watching the live stream, and so Stephen, hope you're alright, this one's for you, mate. So, basically we're going to be looking at the process that I would use for a vehicle that came into a workshop, Mick Shakeley's workshop, Shakeley Motors in Colchester. It's a 2019 Volkswagen Golf with the 1.5 TSI engine. There are lots and lots of known issues on this vehicle, multiple cylinder misfires, fuel trim codes. There's a very common fault in it where the high pressure pump goes faulty. They also suffer rough running misfires, carbon build up and stuff like that. So we're talking about this car, but we can apply this process to any job that comes into our workshop. So in your normal workshop, the workshop for the people that are not here on a Saturday morning learning, so what is the diagnostic process that your normal 60% of the workshops in the UK go through? They'll do an engine code read. So the customer complaint is it's running a bit rough, I've got a mill lamp on. They'll normally do straight into engine with their cheap scan tool, and they'll pull up the codes. They'll look at the fault codes. So we've got P0300, 301, 302, 303, maybe a couple of fuel trim codes, maybe a fuel trim lean code, fuel trim rich code, mass airflow code, stuff like that. They're gonna go on to Google, YouTube. They're gonna have a look for the bloke with OT, see if he's got any silver bullets out there for them. First thing, misfire. The first thing they're gonna do, they're gonna pull the coils. Okay, they're gonna start swapping the coils from one cylinder to another to see if the fault follows the coil. And we all know what happens with the VAG connectors. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to break them off. So how many people in the room have never seen a broken VAG connector on something that's come from another workshop? Not many of you. When that doesn't work, they're going to start swapping the spark plugs around. Okay, so again, they're getting very intrusive. There's a chance they're going to break the connectors, break the coils, snap a spark plug off, maybe forget where the spark plug came from. Then they're going to replace the coils and plugs with really, really cool white box specials, aren't they? And it's still not going to fix it because they've not looked at any evidence. They've not gathered any evidence. They've not looked. All they've got is the fault codes. They're going to blame the oxygen sensors for fuel trim codes. They're going to replace them, and then when that doesn't fix it, they're going to put a white box map on it. When that doesn't fix it, they're going to send it to you guys because you've all got the better computers. Have we all, anybody here not got the best computer? So as professionals, as the people that are professionally doing evidence-based diagnostics, where do we start? This is the actual sticker that's in the top right hand corner of my whiteboard in my workshop, complete with oily fingerprints, because I point to it so many times when we got people on the ride-along days. Again, 4 rights, measure the right thing in the right way, at the right time, with the right tool. And as James said before, if you're not making headway, then one of your rights wrong. So this is a picture of my whiteboard. It's probably, see that whiteboard there? It's probably 4 or 5 times the size of that. It is the most valuable tool I have in my workshop. Yeah, it really is. Everything gets written on it. This is the top right hand corner. 4 right sticker. We've got then the 4 processes that I go through on any job. The first thing is an assessment. So I'm looking at the vehicle, I'm assessing the vehicle fault, I'm assessing the customer concern, I'm assessing whether I really want to work on this vehicle, whether I really want to take it any further, the customer's ability to pay, all that sort of stuff. Then I do my testing, so a separate paid testing phase. Then if I've come to a conclusion, I'll do the repair, or I'll price for the repair. Again, we'll come back to the repair side of it, and then at the very end of it, I review the job as a whole. So you can see here, I've got written down, like I say, it's never rubbed off, what changed, what, why, what, when. The old dirty funnel on my whiteboard, okay, that is my diagnostic process. Starting from the fat end of the funnel, we're in big picture mode, we're in wide angled lens mode, okay. We're doing generic tests and non-intrusive testing, okay? So we're keeping our hands clean and our tools in the box. That is the objective with the assessment. We don't want to be taking tools out and doing stuff that we don't have to do. Further down the funnel, as we're gathering our evidence, we finally get to the stage where we've gathered enough evidence to start doing pinpoint tests, getting the tools out of the box, taking measurements. And right at the very bottom, beware the rabbit hole. The thin end of the funnel, when you get to your pinpoint test, or the point where you're deciding to do your pinpoint test, that's where the danger lies. That's where you deviate. That's where you start, oh, I'll just replace the inverter cover. I'll just do that because we've done it. It's the quickest and easiest way to do it. And this is where the danger lies. So, the Simply Diag approach, my approach, the approach that I've been taught over many years. I'll verify the customer concern. What actually is my customer complaining about? Are they complaining about an engine light? Are they complaining about using too much fuel? Are they complaining about a misfire? What is their actual customer complaint? And if you notice that it said on the right hand side, beware the time vampire. Yeah? The time vampire, an intermittent fault. Can you just have a quick look? So, what's going to happen with an intermittent fault? Remember, if we go back to James's matrix of right fault, right car, and all that, an intermittent fault. What's going to happen there? This one of a couple of outcomes. You're either going to spend 2 hours trying to get the fault to happen, right? If it doesn't happen, what are you going to do? You're either going to give the car back to the customer and not charge them. That's a lose for you. Your customer, okay, you've not charged him, but when he goes down to the pub tonight, oh, I've had my car in Steve's place today, he couldn't find out what was wrong with it. He's not going to tell his mate that the fault didn't happen. Okay, so he loses and I lose twice. I've not been paid and my reputation takes a dive. Okay. The other scenario is I charge them for my time, or walking back out to the car, turning it on and off, test driving it for 30 mile. Yeah. But the fault doesn't happen. I've not been able to gather any evidence. I've not been able to verify that customer concern. So what's going to happen there? I'm going to be okay because I've got paid for it, but he's going to go down the pub and he's like, oh man, he charged me 2 hours. That's 180 quid I've paid, and he's not fixed it. He's not going to say he spent 2 hours trying to make it happen. So your intermittent fault, there are no winners with an intermittent fault ever that I've ever experienced. So for me, when I'm booking a vehicle in, if the fault is not readily replicable, or the customer cannot make it do it on demand, then it's not coming into my workshop. Okay, so go back a good few years now. I was working, I was actually in a garage doing a job as a mobile diag guy. This lady's car had been in and out of the workshop. They had 3 or 4 technicians look at it. It had bolts placed on it. What was happening was every time she came to a stop, the car was cutting out, but it would restart immediately. Okay, they couldn't fix it. It was intermittent. It only ever happened for the woman. So they said, Steve, can you go and have a look for me? You know, please just go and have a look. I said, yeah, no problem. And they gave me the key. I said, no, I want to see the lady do it. Okay, I want her to drive. So I plugged the scan tool in. I booted the scan tool up. I'm not even looking at the scan tool. I'm actually watching what the woman's doing. It was Peugeot 107, 206, something like that. You know, with the flip key? And you know what happens when they wear? You put it in one way and the key hangs down. You put it in the other way and the key sticks straight out. What was happening, she's a little lady. She sat in the car, put the key in, so the key's hanging down. Every time she pressed the brake, her knee was hitting the key and turning the ignition off. Yeah, that was the fault. But no technician could replicate it. It was only when I took a step back and thought, right, okay, let's have a, let's think about this logically. What can be happening? And I spotted it. So took the key out of the ignition, put it in the other way. I said, right, now do it. Magic, brilliant, fixed it. So your intermittent faults, try and avoid wherever possible booking them in, because you're not going to win. Okay. I'll always start with a global vehicle scan. So even if it only comes in with an engine fault or something like, or an engine light, I will always put a scan tool on there, normally for me the Bosch KTS, and it gives me a date and timestamp record of everything that's happened on that car. So it's CMA, cover my arse. It stops your cinches. So you're looking at an engine fault. So, oh, ever since you did my spark plugs, my airbag light has been on. Yeah, so it stops that. But what it also does, if we're looking at every system in the car all at once, we're in big picture mode. So say, for example, we've got the car's rough running, but no fault codes. But then I've got 5 other modules on the vehicle, all reporting no comms with engine, or battery voltage faults, or something like that. Is it the fact that the engine ECU is powered down? So if it's in a powered down state, it can't record a DTC, can it? So it helps us to build a picture with power faults, with network faults and all that. So I always take a global scan and save it at the start of every job. I'll then do my research. Okay, so the very first thing I'll do then is manufacturer's information. I'm going to look at TSBs from the manufacturer's info, from all data and stuff like that. I'm also going to open up DDTSB. Anybody here use DDTSB? Okay. Be very careful when you're looking at DDTSB. It's very, very easy to get down that rabbit hole straight away. Only last week, I had a member of the network. He said, I've got